Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. Now, this is where I take a deep dive into a particular subject, particular creator, and I tell you everything that you need to know about that subject. And today, I'm going to be talking to you about Queen Spirit by John Bannon. I aim to do more reviews on books. And this is going to be the first of a bunch of book reviews that are coming in. And this is John Bannon's latest book, Queen Spirit. Now, anybody who has been part of Magic TV for any length of time at all will know that I absolutely adore John Bannon. One of my favourite interviews that I've done on Magic TV is John Bannon, and the guy is incredible. And he's just brought out Queen Spirit. Let me read the back to you. Less is more is less, more or less, the challenge of card magic minimalism. A short series of etudes addressing the theory, problems and solutions illustrated by the 7-card assembly. Only 4 queens and 3 indifferent spot cards. Is less more? How low can you go? The 7-card assembly is a metaphor for a tight construction. So tight you might have to cheat a little. So yeah, in essence, what it is a collection of routines using the 7-card assembly premise. Now, the whole idea of a 7-card assembly is that you have 4 cards, like 4 aces, and then 3 indifferent cards, and using those, you do an ace assembly. Now, the classic ace assembly is done with like 16 cards. You've got the 4 aces and 3 cards go on each one. And it was Ed Marlowe that first of all kind of really approached the problem of the 7-card assembly. Well, John has then taken it and then some. So let's go through what's in the book, and we'll do a couple of performances along the way as well. First of all, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's John Bannon. He's been writing books for a while now. He knows how to write a book. He's been writing more columns and books than most people have hot dinners. This is a very well put together book. John knows how to illustrate a book. The illustrations are great. But also John knows how, well, I say illustrations, they're photos. But John also knows how to, explain how magic works on the written page. And he does so brilliantly. How the book is kind of put together. It starts off with this thing called Girl Group Story. And in Girl Group Story, there's 3 routines. The first routine is called Queen's Landing. The second routine is called Queen of My Block. And the third routine is called Rehab. Those 3 routines can be performed individually or they can perform together. The first 2 are very interesting takes on the 7-card assembly that happen very, very quickly. The third version takes a little bit more time, and then there's a second phase to the third version as well. A little bit like a kickback, a bit like a bluff assembly, right? But they're all designed to go together, and the presentation is all based on using 4 queens, and you know, you've got this girl group, the best girl group of all time. And what's interesting is you get the patter, you get John's patter. But he encourages you to come up with your own way of doing it. But what's interesting is he kind of says, look, you don't have to use the same patter that I use. And he's got some interesting points about story-based patter. But this 3-trick sequence is great. You're basically doing a 7-card assembly 3 times, right? But what's really interesting about it is it builds, even though you're basically doing the same thing 3 times, it builds in a really nice way. And that's why he's put them all together, because they do all go together really, really well. So let's have a look at a performance. I'm going to do all 3 of those routines as one performance piece, so you can kind of see exactly how this whole thing works out. Right, so let's have a look at this. This is a performance of the first section in the book. So I'm going to tell you a story, Jack.
All right.
And it's a story using a pack of cards. Not all the cards, just 7 cards. And it's a story about the greatest girl band in history. Are you a music fan?
I like music.
You like girl groups? Come on, I can see you as a little bit of...
I've heard a couple of Spice Girl songs.
All Saints? Are you a fan of All Saints?
Not really.
Sugar Babes?
Not really.
You're a heathen. I'm going to tell you a story about the greatest. I was such a Spice Girls fan. I really was.
Shocking.
Tell me what you want. Wait, you read it anyway. I'm going to tell you a story using 7 cards.
Okay.
And it's a story about the greatest girl band in the world. Now, it took a while for them to become the greatest girl band in the world. They weren't there right at the very beginning. But they did one day become the greatest girl band of all time. But what's interesting is the story that it took them to get there. It's an inspiring story, full of resilience, full of the kind of message that I hope that you get at the end of this trick is never give up. Never give up. Always go forward. You can fail, that's fine, but when you fail falling forward. You know, that sort of thing. Yeah. Because this girl band that I'm telling you about, they split up 4 times.
4 times?
4 times before becoming the greatest girl band of all time. And I'll tell you the story using playing cards. These 3 spot cards, they're not important. They represent the fans. Not that I'm saying the fans aren't important. The fans are important, obviously.
Fans make the band.
Exactly, but they're the fans. But these are the 4 girls that make up the band. You've got Cynthia Clubb. You've got Helen Hart. You've got Donna Diamond, and you've got the lead singer, Sandra Spade, the greatest lead singer of all time. Some would say that she's even better than
Madonna.
Well, I was thinking even better than who would you say the lead singer of the Spice Girls is? Jerry Halliwell, maybe.
I was thinking,
but then she left. I don't know. Whoever, greatest lead singer of all time. And what happened is one day, very early on in their career, they all went their own separate ways. They argued over a Big Mac. They went, no, they did. No, it's an interesting story because you see what happened is they were rehearsing. It was very early on. They hadn't even had a hit. And they argued about who was having what from McDonald's. It was before Uber Eats or Deliveroo. And so what happened is they all went their own separate ways. But then later on, only a few days later, Sandra Spade, she realised that, that she couldn't give up on her band. So she texted, she phoned, she emailed, and she got the band back together. And the crowd went wild.
Yay.
Now, the second time this happened is even more interesting.
Is it over KFC?
No, the second time, it was creative differences. You see, Sandra Spade was always the lead singer, but Helen Hart, she wanted to be the lead singer. They had a massive row. She was like, why do you always get to be the lead singer of the band, Sandra? I want to be lead singer. And the girls took sides. It wasn't a nice situation. They had fans by now. They'd achieved a certain level of success. The fans weren't happy. The reason the fans weren't happy is because, once again, they split up. They went their own separate ways. Helen decided to go on a solo career. Honestly, it didn't work out.
Shocking.
So she then realised she couldn't do it without her friends. So she texted, she phoned, she emailed. She got the band back together.
Hey.
And the crowd went wild. I mean, it's amazing, right? Now, the third time that these girls split up, the third time that this happened, was kind of interesting.
They argue a lot, don't
they? They do argue a lot. They do definitely argue a lot. Well, the third time this happened, right? It's kind of interesting. They'd become a worldwide sensation at this point. And they argued about money. Sandra said that she wanted more money than the rest of the girls. She wanted more money than the rest of the girls. The girls weren't happy about this, as you could imagine. So they went their own separate ways again. They didn't want to be together. They went their own separate ways. They forgot that the only way that they can achieve real success is as a group. So what did Sandra do? Well, she texted, she phoned, she emailed, and she got the gang back together, and the crowd went wild. But the final time is the most interesting.
Was it over a man?
No. Sandra, she developed a drug problem. I mean, she's a rock star, right? She hit it, and she hit it hard. Anything that could go up her nose went up her nose. Like, oh my God. Like, she had more holes in her than Swiss cheese. And she was just an embarrassment. She went on a live interview on TV. And she just threw up all over the I think it was Jonathan Ross. It was a terrible situation. So what happened is they thought that the band was going to break up, but what they did is they put Sandra in rehab.
Right.
Sandra went in rehab. Right, that's basically what happened there. And the other 3 girls, well, they thought, you know what, we're gonna need somebody else. So they auditioned for another person to come and help. But you know what?
What?
Didn't work out. So they got the gang back together, and the crowd went wild. That is the story of the greatest girl band of all time, Sandra Spade and the Queenetters.
The Queenetters, brilliant.
There you go. So that was a performance of the first 3 routines in the book, and as you can see, they are very direct. There's nothing in this book that's difficult. There's nothing knuckle busting. You know, I mean, if you know John Bannon, you know he tends to go for subtlety over technique an awful lot, and this is a perfect example. Everything that you just saw in that performance is very easily attainable. Now, the next section is called Kindred Spirits, and there's 3 routines here as well. The first routine is called Band on the Run. And again, beautiful illustrations, beautiful illustrations. So the first one's called Band on the Run. The second one is called Otis and the Queens. And the third one is called Alternative Block Party. Now, what we have here in this section are 3 routines. There we go. Yes, there we go. So, no, it's not Alternative Block Party. Yes, it is. Sorry, Alternative Block Party. Yes, sorry. So, I want to get it right. So, these 3 routines are basically 7-card assemblies, but they have the cards vanish and appear one by one instead of all together. I'd never seen a 7-card assembly where it was one by one. Normally, most 7-card assemblies are done the way that you saw the first routine that I performed, which is all 3 of them vanish and they all immediately appear with the leader card, right? That's normally how most of these routines are done, because you're only dealing with 7 cards. It's very, very different to do it as a one-ahead thing. Well, John says here, for good reasons, most of the 7-card assemblies are the all at once variety, but not all. George McBride's one at a time assembly sparked and renewed my interest in this somewhat arcane area of card magic. So here are 3 tricks in this subgenre, mix and match. So that's what that section's all about. It's doing 7-card assemblies, but having the vanish and the appearance take place one at a time, which is a really interesting approach to it. I'm not going to perform those because I'm still learning those, to be honest, but I think it's great. And then that kind of covers the 7-card assembly. You got 6 different 7-card assemblies there. You've got so many different ways of doing the 7-card assembly. The nice thing about the 7-card assembly is it's just a regular deck. You just take 7 cards out and you're good to go. But John Bannon, being John Bannon, doesn't just stop there. He then teaches you the ninja assembly. This is very interesting. So the ninja assembly is based on the stealth assembly, which John Carey put together. The stealth assembly, yeah. So John Carey used one of John Bannon's signature moves and created the stealth assembly. And then what happened is a guy called Elbert Chow contacted John Bannon and showed him another way of doing the stealth assembly, but being able to show the queens at the last second before they assemble. So it's a 16-card assembly. It's not a 7-card assembly, but I've performed the stealth assembly many times. It's great. It's really good. This is even better. It's probably the most technically demanding trick in the book, and even then it's not that difficult, but there is a moment which some people might worry about. But this 16-card assembly is probably the best 16-card assembly I've ever seen. Stealth assembly is still great. If you've not seen stealth assembly, you absolutely should learn it. John Carey is a legend when it comes to card magic. But the this particular version here, this 16-card assembly, this is really good. This is really good. It's called Ninja. I'm going to perform it for you so you can see it in action. You can see what it looks like. I can see myself doing this so much. It's so direct. It's probably as good as any McDonald's Aces type variant I've ever seen. Let's have a look at it. Jack, it uses a deck of cards, and it uses 12 cards in particular. Well, it uses 16, but the first 4 I'm going to pick. These are the 4 queens. So we've got the Queen of Clubs, Queen of Hearts, Queen of Spades, Queen of Diamonds. Are you ready to see the greatest trick of all time?
That's a bold statement.
Bold statement, but I think it is. So as well as the queens, we also have this deck of cards, so you can shuffle them if you want to. And when you're happy, I want to go through the cards face up and take any 12 spot cards out and put them into my hand. Face up, face down, don't really care, but it doesn't matter whether I see them, it's not that sort of thing. But I want 12 cards and exactly 12 cards. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't have to take them all from the top if you don't want to. You can do, it's totally up to you. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. So just in case you think I've added something or taken something away, could you just check that there are absolutely just 12 cards there, and I will put the rest of the cards away.
Yep, definitely 12.
Definitely 12?
Yep.
Are you sitting comfortably?
It's all right.
Then we'll begin. I'm going to use these 12 cards that you gave me to make 4 piles of 3 cards. So we take 3 cards and we put them there.
Yep.
We take 3 cards and we put them there. These 3 go here. Now they're going to be important, but the most important 3 cards are these 3. These are going to be this is going to be where the leader queen ends up. So let me explain. We're going to take the 4 queens, yeah?
Yep.
And I'm going to pop 1 queen here. I'm going to pop 1 queen here. 1 queen goes here, and this last queen is the leader queen. This one goes here. So you've got to remember that this is the leader queen, okay? So the leader queen and the rest of the packet of cards goes over here with you. You can put your hand on it so I can't get to it. Look, it's out of my reach. And we have these other 3 packets. Which one would you like me to use first? Number 1, number 2, or number 3?
3.
Watch this. Number 3, this one here. If I just take that queen and just rub, when I do that, first queen vanishes completely, leaving just 4 cards. Now we're going to do that again for you because we might have missed it. 1 or 2, which one next?
2.
2, this one here. Watch. This one's a little bit different. Not a lot different, but a little bit different. I make a little fan like this and I put that queen there. I just snap, and as I do, that one goes as well. That's number 2. That leaves us with this last one. Watch, I just have to take that card, put it in between these, wait a second, and just like that, that one is gone as well. And now we have 12 cards, no queens. All of the queens have completely and totally vanished. They have to go somewhere, Jack. Lift up your hand. Remember I said that this is the leader queen over here, the queen of clubs? Because it's the leader queen, all the other 3 queens jump to join the queen of clubs.
How did I get there?
I don't know. Can you work it out and let me know? Because it freaks me out, to be honest.
And then, after teaching Ninja, the final routine in the book is called Blitzen. Now, Blitzen was published in one of John Bannon's Genie magazine columns. And it is a very, very, very simple 4 of a kind production. And he teaches this because it's one of his favorite 4 of a kind productions at the moment. And he teaches it so that you have a way to produce the queens before you go into any of your 7 card assemblies. So you can do Blitzen to produce your queens, and then you can go into your 7 card assemblies. Now Blitzen is very, very simple. A lot of 4 Aces productions are very flashy and there's a lot of stuff going on. This is exactly the opposite. You literally just cut the deck and you've immediately cut to all 4 queens. It's very direct, it's very powerful, and there's almost no moves to it either. As John says here, it's easy, really easy, without any discrepancies. I agree with that. Let's have a look at Blitzen.
Jack.
Right.
Jack, I've got a deck of playing cards.
Nice.
52 cards. Say it with me.
52 possibilities.
Go, Jack. You know the lines right now. We're going to try and do something. I'm going to cut the cards. All right, Jack?
Okay.
And you decide where I cut. So I'm just going to riffle down, say stop.
Stop.
Right there. You sure?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to cut into 2 piles and take the top card of each pile off and check that out. I've got 1 queen, 2 queens, 3 queens. Oh, and yes, of course, that would be 4.
Wow.
Yeah, that's called Blitzen. Not just a reindeer, but a really cool card trick.
What?
I know, right? Isn't that quick?
That is pretty cool.
It's so fast, you can switch off the lights and be in bed before the room turns dark.
So there you go. That's Queen Spirit by John Bannon. If you like assemblies, this is absolutely a book for you. Luckily, I do like assemblies, which is why it is a book for me. I've always been interested with the 7-card assembly. This gives me more 7-card assemblies that I can shake a stick at. Honestly, it's worth the price alone just for the Ninja assembly. But everything in here is solid and really good. I'm going to be doing more performances from some of the other routines in this book over the coming weeks and months. But for now, it's not that big. Doesn't need to be. It's only 8 routines. 8. 6 7-card assemblies, 1 normal assembly, 1 4-of-a-kind production, and a partridge in a pear tree. 72 pages altogether. Very well taught. Very well photographed. This is great. This is really good. Like, not everybody likes assemblies, but if you do, especially the 7-card assembly, this is probably the ultimate work on the 7-card assembly. I'm going to give this 100%. I think it's great. I'm biased because I love John Bannon. I think John Bannon is an incredible teacher of magic. I think he's an incredible creator. I love the way he approaches magic. I love the way he approaches problems when it comes to card magic. And this is no exception. It gets 100% from me, and it's highly recommended. So there you go, guys. That's another review show in the bag. Do me a favor. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with another video, so make sure you look out for that. If you haven't already watched the Q&A from earlier on today, please watch the Q&A because there's some really fun stuff going on in the Q&A this week. And also, don't forget, if you haven't joined the Netrix, please do so. www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.com. Go check it out and see what all the fuss is about. Thank you once again. I will see you again soon. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.